Hi, welcome to Database Management System video lecturing. Myself Ranganatha K, Assistant Professor, Department of Information Science and Engineering, Canara Engineering College, Mangaluru. In this video, we are going to learn three concepts. One is actors on the scene, second one is workers behind the scene, third one is advantages of DBMS. First one, actors on the scene. In this section, we identify the people whose job involve the day-to-day use of large database. We call them the actors on the scene. These are all comes under the actors on the scene. The database administrators, database designers, end users. These three people comes under the actors on the scene. These three people job is they will use a large amount of database in a daily basis. And also one more actors on the scene is system analyst and application programmers. In short form, we can call it as software engineers are involved under the actors on the scene. They are also using our database in a day-to-day based manner. First, the database administrators. The database administrators, the name itself indicates that they will going to do administering the database. Like the resources is the responsibility of the database administrators. Whatever the resources we are using to design, to develop and to use our database, so the administering responsibility is to manage, to maintain these resources. And also not only to monitoring the resources, they are also responsible for authorizing access. Means unauthorized persons should not access our database. They need to monitor this also. To the database, coordinating and monitoring its use and acquiring software and hardware resources as needed. Not only authorizing access is a responsibility of DBA, so they are also coordinating and monitoring the use of the database, and as well as so software and hardware resources whenever it is required for a database, so it needs to support by the DBA administrators. The DBA is accountable for problems such as security breaches and poor system response time. In case if the database security is leaked, then it's a responsibility of database administrators. They need to take care of the security of the database, and as well as so they need to check the response time of the system. If the system response time is poor, then they need to take care of measures to improve the response time of the database. Second, database designers. The database designers are responsible for identifying the data to be stored in the database and for choosing appropriate structure to represent and store this data. The database designers are the people, those responsibilities to identify the data, what type of data they are receiving, whether it is a textual data or audio data or video data, and where need to be stored, what type of data structure we need to select, whether appropriate data structure is selected data structure is correct or not, and how we need to store the data. It is a responsibility to take care of these. And third point is end users. The end users are the people whose jobs require access to the database for querying, updating and generating the reports. The database primarily exists for this use. Here there are several set of users are there. Their job is to access the database and use the database for querying, updating the data, and generating the reports from the database. So there are these are the uses of the end users. There are several category of end users are there. So we will see those users one by one. So first one is casual end users. Second one is navy or parametric end users. Third one is sophisticated end users. Casual end users are nothing but the users, they are using our database or they are accessing our database occasionally, but they may need different set of information each and every time whenever they are accessing our database. For example, levels of the manager. In an organization, different levels of the managers so will access their database for different purpose. So but they are accessing their data occasionally. Second point, navy or parametric end users. The navy or parametric end users will make up a sizable portions of database end users. Means these set of people will extract or they will work on the database, so which is a sizable portions of the database. So where required set of amount of data only they will going to use, and they will going to design of that particular area, or they will be using, and as well as they will be storing the data into the database. Then last users are sophisticated end users. The sophisticated end users are includes engineers, scientists and business analysts. Like they are all sophisticated end users. The data which is already existed in the database, so based on that existing database they are doing the analysis of the data, so predicting the data, so and as well as doing the analysis of the data, so that are all will be done by the sophisticated end users. They are also occasionally they can also access our data from the database. Last, fourth one, standalone users. The standalone users maintain the personal data by using ready-made programs or packages that provide easy to use menu based or graphical user interface based manner. So standalone users are nothing but the end users. They were using ready-made programs or packages that will provide to use in the manner that is menu based manner or graphical user interfaced manner. They are using our database. And the last point is under the actors on the scene, that is system analyst and application programmers. In short form we are calling software engineers. The software engineers, what their working principle means, the system analyst determine the requirement of the end users, and application programmer will implement these specifications as a program. Then they test, debug and document and maintain. Basically the system analyst work is to determine the end user requirement specifications. Based on that end user requirement specification, the application programmer will implement the specifications as a program. That is nothing but the specifications are converted into a programs. That program will test, debug and document. So this is about your actors on the scene. Next topic is workers behind the scene. So the workers behind the scene, the people, those who work to maintain the database system environment but who are not actively interested in the database contents as a part of their daily job. Such users we are calling it as workers behind the scene. Means the people, those who work to maintain the database system environment but they are not actively interested in the database contents. What database includes, what type of data it includes, they are not bothering about it, but they are maintain the database in the system environment manner, but they are part of their daily job, they are doing this work. So the workers behind the scene, and they include the following categories. These are all peoples will comes under the workers behind the scene. First one, DBMS system designers and implementers, and second one is tool developers, and the third one is operators and maintenance personnel. DBMS system designers and implementers, the people who will be designing a database and who will be converting that specification into a programmable part, that is implementers, the DBMS models, and as well as their interfaces of all the models as a software package. Those people we are calling it as DBMS system designers and implementers. Second point is tool developers. The tool developers are the developers, they will going to design and implementing the tools like SQL tool or software development tools which used to design, develop and to maintain our database. They include the packages for database design, and these tools will check the performance monitoring of the database and natural language or graphical interface prototyping, simulation and test data generation. So these are all functionalities are included in that particular package, that is for database design package. So the tool developer will include these are all the functionalities inside the tool to design and implement our database. Operators and maintenance personnel. The operators and maintenance personnels are nothing but system administrators. The people who comes under the system administration, so they are comes under the operators and maintenance personnel. They are maintaining our database, they are maintaining our system environment, and as well as sometimes they are also operating our database operations or functions. These are all we are calling it as a workers behind the scene. Now we will move to the advantages of using the DBMS approach. There are basically 10 advantages of DBMS approaches are there. First one is controlling redundancy. Second one is restricting unauthorized access. Third one, providing persistent storage for program objects. Fourth one, providing storage structure and search technique for efficient query processing. Fifth one, providing backup and recovery. Sixth one, providing multiple user interfaces. Seventh one, representing complex relationship among data. Eighth one is enforcing integrity constraints. Ninth one is permitting inferencing and action using rules. And last advantage is additional implications of using the database approach. Now we will see one by one explanation of the advantages of DBMS. First one, controlling redundancy. In the database, there should not be any redundancy of data. Means the duplication should not exist, or duplication of the data should not be existed in the DBMS. So if it is existed, then it is a wastage of memory, that is nothing but storage space is wasted. Since the same data is already stored, so if you are storing in a 2 or more number of locations with the same data, then storage space will be wasted. And as well as, so the second problem is files that represent the same data may be inconsistent. So to overcome this one, so the advantage of DBMS is that will overcome these two problems. So that is by maintaining a controlling a redundancy of data. Second advantage is restricting unauthorized access. The DBMS will support multiple user environment, and also many users will share the same database. Each user in a database will require different information from the database with the different access permission. So therefore, to unauthorized persons should not access the data which is existed in the database. So to restricting that one, DBMS will provide a method, so for specifying authorization, access permission and security for a new user who is creating and using our database. Third advantage of DBMS is providing persistent storage for program object. The providing persistent storage for a program objects means whenever a data has been entered by an user or data is stored into the database, that data will store permanently. So for example, if whenever we are executing a high level programming language like C or C++, when we are passing the parameter list during the execution or runtime, that parameter list will not be existed automatically. When program will gets terminated, the values are also terminates. But in case of our database management system, so that kind of situation will not happens. Once data is inserted into the database, which will be storing permanently. So therefore, that is one of the advantage of DBMS. And for example, impedance mismatch problem. The impedance mismatch problem means whenever we are comparing with the data types or data structure of the DBMS attributes, so there should not be any mismatch should occur between the DBMS which we have stored in the database and as well as high level language programming. So in the object oriented database system typically offers database structure compatibility. If and only if the data structure compatibility is existed, then only the data will going to store into the database. In case if the data structure compatibility is not there, then the data will not store into the database. But whatever the data we are storing into the database, that will be a permanent until and unless the user will delete. The fourth advantage of DBMS is providing storage structures and search techniques for efficient processing. So database can be used to provide, so or else to facilitate or efficiently executing the queries initiated by the end users, and also there is a mechanism for reflecting the updated made on the database. So these are all the functionalities or capability needs to be done very efficiently. Whenever we are fetching the data, we are updating the data, we are modifying the data into the database. So therefore, we are maintaining a indexing concepts inside the database to retrieve the data from the database. So with respect to the rows and column wise, so that indexing will requires an additional structure and gets changed automatically whenever there is a memory address modifications will happens in the inside the database. These kind of facilities are existed in the database. Easily the data can be searched and easily data can be modified with respect to that particular row or particular column. So that is also one of the advantage of using a database. So then providing backup and recovery. If any in the DBMS must provide a backup and recovery facility. So because so provides the models for creating the backup and recovery. So if any hardware failure or software failures will occurs, automatically the database needs to be recovered. So that kind of facility is also given inside the DBMS. Sixth advantage is providing multiple user interface. Providing multiple user interface means the user will be interacting with our database by using any one of these methods, either menu driven interface, form style interface, or graphical user interface manner. The user who will be using our database, the he should be having a technical knowledge to use our database. So there are different variety of users are there, like casual users or parametric users or sophisticated end users, or so there are application programmers or designers or database administrators. Different set of users are there. They were using our database, either they will be interacting with our database is with any one of these methods or interfaces. Seventh point is representing complex relationships among data. The representing complex relationship among data means, for example, we will consider whenever there will be a new relationship is arised, then our database needs to be support. Means to retrieve the data, to store the data into the database, whenever we want to update the data in from the database or into the database, then it needs to be easily and efficiently the these are all the operations needs to be done. For example, I will tell you, so let us consider a student database. For that student database, If we are adding one more model or one more concept for the existing table of the database, then it has to support. So whenever we want to remove any kind of model from the existing database, so then it needs to be updated easily and efficiently. This kind of advantage is provided under the database management system. And eighth advantage, enforcing integrity constraint. There are two types of constraints are implemented in the database approach. One is referential integrity constraint and second one is uniqueness constraint. The uniqueness constraint is nothing but it is specific to that particular table. For example, if we are considering a student database, in the student database, some of the attributes we can identify uniqueness constraints. So like for example, USN in the student database, USN will be a uniqueness constraint attribute, or else you can consider a mobile number. The mobile number can also be a uniqueness constraint attribute. So this kind of attributes will helps to retrieve the particular row from a table very easily. So therefore uniqueness constraints will be applied in a database. Second constraint is referential integrity constraint. The referential integrity constraints will supports to communicate or to provide the relationship between two or more number of tables with the cardinality ratio constraints or else referential integrity foreign key constraint manner. So I'll with an example, if a student database table is there and a department database table is there, then I want to provide a relationship between these two tables by using a referential integrity constraint. So how I need to specify? So first and foremost thing is, so we need to check whether any foreign key constraints are existed between these two tables or not. In the department table, let us consider department name, department number, department location, where department number will act as a uniqueness constraint. When I compare to a student table, in the student table, department number will be a attribute. That attribute will act as a referential integrity constraint between these two tables, like that is foreign key constraint. So this is an example. So how we are enforcing a integrity constraint in our database to provide or to uh, provide the relationship between two or more number of tables. Next advantage is permitting inferencing and actions using rule. Some database systems provide capabilities for defining deduction rules for inferencing new information from the stored database fact. It means, so we want to reduce our database. So whenever we want to reduce our database, we will be applying some deduction rules. That deduction rules are also, we can call it as, example is augmentation rule, like reflexivity rule, transitivity property, reflexivity property. Okay, these kind of properties we are applying for our functional dependency. So inside the functional dependency, when we will apply these kind of rules inside the functional dependency to reduce the complexity of our database, it will helps. So this is what permitting the inferencing and actions using different rules inside the database. And like for example, there are triggers concepts are there, stored procedure concepts are there, active database systems are there. These are all some of the concepts when we are doing any changes or modifications with respect to that, so automatically it will going to trigger or it will reflect to the another table.